This is Gila. I just recently came across the case of Louis Duxbury. He's a young man who was understandably outraged by the horrific Islamic terrorist attacks on London Bridge in 2017. And the day after, he uploaded a 17-minute monologue onto Facebook, speaking out against Muslim extremists. I haven't seen or heard it, it was taken down, but according to an excellent article about what happened to him, I'm giving the link below, it was essentially boring, repetitive, unsophisticated, and also full of expletives. This young man was kicked out of university, and he was sent to prison for 18 months for apparently inciting religious hatred by his outburst. And now he's out, he's further being hounded by his local probation service. It seems the powers that be are determined to try to ruin his life simply for daring to record and upload an explosive rant against Muslim extremists when he was in a state of outrage thanks to the murders of the day before. Read the article and make up your own minds. But this whole case makes me feel extremely uneasy. And personally, only recently, when arguing with one or two Muslims on Twitter about what the Quran truly teaches with regard to the treatment of non-Muslims, I was falsely and frankly absurdly accused of being potentially far-right, dangerous, and needing to be monitored, with a complete refusal by them to face the reality of what various unpleasant verses in the Quran and Hadith actually say. Am I right as a non-Muslim to criticise verses which I find deeply offensive? I've every right to criticise other people's beliefs which I don't agree with, and even more which I actually find personally threatening to me as a non-Muslim, as a woman, and as a Jew. As tragically exists in mainstream Islamic ideology with regard to the treatment of non-Muslims. Freedom of speech is an essential right in any truly civilized modern society. If you're offended by something, you should be able to say so. But you don't really have any right not to be offended, because what offends me doesn't necessarily offend you, and vice versa, and so on. It's a complex morass. Anyway, back to the argument I was having. I decided to try a thought experiment, and I simply changed the word Jew or non-believer to Muslim to get my point across, and came out with verses such as Quran 9:123. O you who believe, fight those of the Muslims who are near to you and let them find in you hardness. Or in the Hadith, Sahih Bukhari 52:177, Allah's apostle said, the hour will not be established until you fight with the Muslims, and the stone behind which a Muslim will be hiding will say, O Jew, there is a Muslim hiding behind me, so kill him. Perhaps I need hardly add that it's totally against Jewish ethics. Strangely enough, there was no answer to my assessment that if such verses really existed in some other religious holy book, if I were a Muslim, I would find such verses deeply offensive. And equally, in their original anti-infidel or anti-Semitic setting, so do I. And I've every right to say so. But sadly, slowly our human rights and freedoms, which I took for granted in Britain when I was younger, have been and are being eroded in the name of political correctness, nowadays also wokeness, and racism is finding a back door into our Western societies through the appalling critical race theory. Racists are no less racist, whatever the colour of their skins or of those they are bigoted against. And on YouTube, I listen to good people trying to convey information about checking the results of 2020 in the USA, By the way, Arizona will hopefully have some concrete results in the near future. And I hear the words balloons, ballets, selection, frogs, fun. For all the words no one can use on YouTube anymore because the censorship is only getting worse. And it's only going to go downhill even faster if nothing is done to stop this censorship, which frankly I find utterly outrageous. Now, as I personally live in a country where freedom of speech is still respected, in Israel, a liberal democracy surrounded by various rather less free Islamic states, I do feel an obligation to speak out for freedom and human rights. Because if enough good people don't stand up now and call a halt to the utter absurdities now taking place in Britain, in the USA, and in other Western countries, the censorship, the lies spread by so much mainstream media, woke speech, and more besides, our children and grandchildren will inherit a very dark and oppressive future indeed. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good day, a good week, and stand up for truth, freedom, and human rights. Goodbye.